Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark from the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mark from the States. How we doing today? I'm doing fantastic. I hope you are as well. Welcome to our channel. It started with me trying to get Cooper to do a live stream. Cooper, my son, he just got back, not just got back, it's been several weeks from the UK. I wanted him to do a live stream to talk about and answer some questions from all of you. Not comfortable doing that. Sports has kicked in. Our schedules are just not blending, and therefore it's really hard to even get him on camera to be able to just answer these questions. He just kind of kept hemming and hawing. It was late at night whenever he got back from practice and just wasn't into it. And so he said, I'm not going to force him to do this on camera. He's not like me. He's not a ham that likes to be on camera. So I said, I just printed out the questions and I gave them to him and he answered them. So we're going to go ahead and go read through these questions and his answers. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the photos he sent me of his trip. There's no context to any of the photos. I'm sure most of you will know exactly where he was when he took the photo. But where and what he's taking the photo of. I may not get all of them, so some help may be needed, but it'll be fun to kind of see what he was seeing and where, and all the places he got to visit. So come sit with me here. Let's get into our questions. I hope everybody's doing well. Let me just throw that out there. Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing fantastic. I think I already mentioned that. Weedle30 asks, what tour site interests you the most, and if and when you come over again, make plans to visit both the Science Museum and the Natural History Museum. You would love them. Complete proof that museums are not boring. I love this question because, he is not an art museum guy like myself. And I know I would love the Science Museum and the Natural History Museum. Those are definitely places I would love to visit. So I think he would enjoy them. The trip they were on, let me just point this out. And from what I've been learning gradually, he doesn't divulge a lot of information. And I know during his trip, I had to kind of step back and stop being so overbearing and trying to point out things and suggest things. They were very limited they tried to cram so many things in. And here's the thing, they didn't really go into any of them. They just went to the location, walked around, saw this, tried to see as much of the cities and places they were at. They did a few interactive things, museums, castles, so on, that they actually went inside, that sort of thing. But especially when they got to London, I don't think they went into any. They just went to the locations to see it from the outside. Now, granted, awesome. I'm not complaining about that, but I think it just shows that 11 days, 2 of which were traveling. Many of the days during those 11 days, they were on a bus for hours on end, or on a ferry, or on a train. It eats up a lot of the opportunity to see things. And so that just kind of shows you that there's just way too much to see in one, 11-day visit. You need a lot more time and spend just a lot more time in one area and to be able to really dive in. But I'm still really happy that he got to go, and I know he enjoyed himself. His answer to that question, the tourist site that interested him the most, was the Royal Mile. He said the Royal Mile. He loved all the attractions the Royal Mile gave, and historical architecture. And he also pointed out, he goes, but that was, the architecture was everywhere he went, was just amazing. So the Royal Mile in Edinburgh was the touristy place that he enjoyed the most, and that is definitely a place I would love to kind of go visit. Excuse me, I got something going on here. Let's see here. Smog the Horse asked, was there anything in particular you really wanted to see but didn't get the chance? Perhaps something that would make you want to come back for another visit. And like I'd been talking earlier, I would imagine there's probably a lot. His answer, though, to this question was Windsor Castle. I don't even think they got to go see Windsor Castle. Maybe they did and drove by or something, but I know the tour kind of split. How the tour was set up, a bunch of high schools were sending kids, and so it wasn't just them by themselves. They were grouped together with like two other schools, and there's maybe three other schools that were also kind of associated to this company, this tour company, and half of them went to Windsor, while the other half went to Buckingham. So that other half didn't even get to go drive around Buckingham Palace, which that's a bummer. I think if I had to choose between the two, I'd rather go the way he did and went to Buckingham Palace. But yeah, Windsor Castle, he would definitely love to see that next time. So he's definitely open, it sounds like, for him to go back. I do know he said the travel was hard, and I get it. He's 15. I mean, it'd be hard on me as well. Let's see here. Malcolm asked, what did you like most about the UK, and did you feel safe? He had said he liked the experience around Buckingham Palace and even saw Prince William arrive, which I'd mentioned that before when it happened. He was there and his motorcade showed up when they were outside the palace, and the tour guide pointed it out, says that's Prince William. And I'm not sure if they actually saw him get out of the car. I think they drive in and went out of view, but pretty cool. You got to see the motorcade with all the police and the horses, and yeah, really cool. He also says he felt relatively safe everywhere he went in the UK. So that's awesome. That really is cool. Let's see here. Catherine asked, was the Irish Sea rough? And did he get seasick? Now, he is prone to getting seasick, just like myself. He said it wasn't too bad. He usually feels unwell on these types of things, but that particular time he was good. Now, those ferries aren't the ferries that I have in my head. I've seen pictures of those things. Those things are like cruise ships. They're huge. And so I can imagine it probably went pretty good. Let's see here. Terry and Sylvia asked, hi, Cooper. We would love to hear your reaction to the UK trip. Did you find any unexpected or major differences between the UK and the USA? And most importantly, do you want to come back a second time? Best regards, Terry and Sylvia. Thank you. You too. He says some differences included the drinking water. And I mentioned that, I think, in a previous video. The drinking water, which is to be expected. And I think that is how it is everywhere you go. You get accustomed to the taste of something you drink every day, and then you go to another country, it's going to taste different, you know? So he was kind of taken aback by the drinking water, and I don't think he liked it. So I'm not sure what he was drinking, and I'm not sure if it was bottled water or the tap, you know. He also said the showers, vastly different than what he's used to here, based on staying in hotels here and all that stuff. And so I asked him, what is it about the showers? And he said every shower that in every hotel that he stayed in. so this wasn't just a one-off. There was no door on the shower itself. It just had a partition, that only went about halfway and covered half the shower. And we normally have doors that close or curtains that close, keeps all the water inside. I have seen those showers here in the States, though. So it's not like that's something totally bizarre. He says so that he just wasn't used to that sort of a shower, and they're really small. He said in one shower, he believed, if he remembers correctly, it was in Dublin, so he was facing the faucet or the shower head, and there was a full length mirror behind him in the shower. So he'd turn around and you could just see yourself. It's like, oh my gosh. I thought that was pretty funny. The last thing I want is a mirror in the shower. Oh God, I couldn't think of anything worse. But he did say, yeah, he would love to come back. My Glenn's, of all the experiences, what surprised you the most? And he says the thing that surprised him the most was how kind everyone was. I thought that was cool. He says, I feel there is a stereotype that most British people are rude, but he did not experience that at all. And I think that was awesome. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. That is so cool. You all said he was going to be taken care of and you were all right. And he just said that everyone that he met, strangers, people who are running certain, the buses and the trains and all that stuff, just everywhere he went, the people were just wonderful. So that is so cool. Ken asks any price comparisons between Ventura and the UK outside of London, of course, Cooper. London is an expensive city and price-wise not a good comparison. That is true. It was hard to determine, he says, because of the currency exchange. But he says it felt cheaper. I probably should have dug into that. The funny irony about that whole statement is we were the ones giving him the money, so I can't imagine it felt expensive for him. We were the one supplying his prepaid, where you can just put money on his credit card kind of thing. So I laughed at that. Of course, it felt cheaper, but he did say. So I don't know what the actual exchange rate. It's like the U.S. dollar to the pound. The dollar for every pound, the U.S. is like $1.20 something. But he did say it felt cheaper, so that's cool. LC, hello. That says, what was the weirdest thing you found out about the UK? And she's only limiting him to 3 answers. I don't think he gives 3 answers. One of the weirdest things he said is he found that was the pedestrians not obeying signs. And as long as the car wasn't going to hit them, they just took off. That was so. Probably referring to Edinburgh and London, of course, where there's more tourists. And who's to say that these people are locals? They could have been tourists. What we would call jaywalking. People just, if there was any cars there, they would just dart across the street, is what he was kind of saying. So I thought that was kind of funny. It happens here in New York as well. I don't know if that's unique. He's been to New York, but it's pretty large cities and whatnot. Let's see here. Trev asks, what did you think about traveling on the train? So he did take a train. It was from Edinburgh down to London. He said it was cool. It was a nice experience. It was nice to experience what people do on a regular basis. Now, we don't have a train culture, which is, at least here on the West Coast. with things being so far apart. I mean, you can take the train, but it's such a car culture here. On the East Coast, it's Northeast, New York, Washington, Boston, that area. The trains are a little more, with those big cities all closer together, Philadelphia, so on. It's more people taking trains to work, commuting, and stuff like that. You don't really get that here. You can, and I'm sure there are some, but it's not as common. But he did say, oh, thank you. That might be another question. But he did say it was a cool experience. He hasn't been on many trains in his life for sure. Let's see here. Debbie asked, would he be keen to come back? And he says, absolutely. All right. What the heck? I should probably put that on mute. Holy moly. He said it's absolutely, he would love to come back. I think he had a lot of fun, for sure. He doesn't, he's one of those kids where he'll tell you some highlights, but you got to really kind of have follow-up questions, and you got to get him cornered to where he's not busy doing something, and you got to maybe like a dinner. You can just kind of pepper him, or in the car. We tried to pepper him right after we picked him up from the airport, but he was so tired and hungry, he just wasn't too forthcoming at the time. Understood, though. Understandable. But every day I get a little bit something, or something will remind him of his trip, and he'll talk about it. So I'm trying to be patient and allow it to be organic in him reminiscing about his trip and talking about it, because you can just hear the excitement in his voice. And I just think this is going to be one of those things where over time he's really going to appreciate it. I really do. Elsie has another question. What was it like watching football? Remember, I talked to him about how he snuck down in one of his hotels to watch the Euro down into the bar, is what I'm calling. I don't know if it was a pub, but he said it was awesome. He felt very immersed in the culture when he was down there watching the game. He watches a game with me, or here in the States. Generally, it's just not the same thing. But he said it was awesome, being down there and hearing the people, just their comments, their interactions with each other. He said it was loud. He just loved it. He just loved it. And I don't think he was. I don't think he had a pint at all. I think he was just probably drinking that strange water. He may not have even been drinking at all. I'm not quite sure. Let's see here. No one in particular says, what did you think of any interaction you had with the Brits? And he just reiterated everyone that he talked to was friendly. So it doesn't surprise me, because I know my boy is polite. So it makes me warm and fuzzy to hear that. Carol says, hey, Cooper, did you enjoy the grub? And I don't mean McDonald's. And now here is the rub. He said he enjoyed the curry. He liked the breakfasts. Now, he didn't have an English breakfast. When you said pudding, beans, he's a stickler for his breakfast. He's a picky eater. So I was a little worried, even though we encouraged him to try things. I'm surprised he tried the curry. He tried a few other foods that he said he liked. He said he liked the breakfasts, but I think he just had eggs, But he did not like the fish and chips. Now, I'm sure he liked the chips, but he said he had fish and chips twice. Once and these are probably not the most ideal places to have them. Let's be upfront here. I believe he tried it in Dublin, and then once in London. And because after he told me he had it in Dublin, I said, you got to try it when you get to Britain, mainly London, hoping that he would find a place that had good fish and chips. I know the advice is to go to a seaside village, Whitby, somewhere like that, to have fish and chips, but I was hoping that maybe he would catch one. I don't know if he had haddock or cod. I asked him, I go, was it a fishy taste? He said it was, so I'm thinking it was cod. He said it was just a round disc shape is what he had, but he didn't like it. So he's not a big fish eater though. So being 15, he may not appreciate that sort of thing, and his taste buds are gonna definitely change over time. So maybe on his next visit, he'd be willing to try it again if we were in a known place for fish and chips. That would be ideal. So that excuse me. So those are his answers to those questions. I appreciate everybody asking questions. Sorry I didn't get him on camera to do this. Maybe in a future video he'll change his mind and he'll come out. Hope to elaborate more. I'd like to get him on camera to explain his photos and stuff like that. He apparently took a bunch, but when I asked for him to send me photos, he only sent me just a few, and I'm all, can you send me a couple more at least? So he did. So we're going to go ahead and jump out and take a look at these. Here we are. Okay, here we go. Here is Cooper. Ironically enough, this is the only one that he was in. The rest, he was not. So, yes, I believe it's Conwy Castle. I don't know if these are in order of how the trip went. They may be jumbled around. I'm not sure. So we're just going to kind of go through them, and hopefully I'll recognize a lot of them. I'm sure you all will know exactly where he is. And let's see. I love the fact that he got to go to this castle. Here's another shot of it. I mean, it's a castle, right? There's a lot of castles there that aren't castle-y enough. And if you're going to go visit one, I know this is one of the top ones to go to. And it just looks absolutely amazing. This is called a jacket potato. Must have been really good, because why else would you take a photo of it? But he did say he enjoyed it. I think he had this in Ireland. He enjoyed that. But why wouldn't he? It's like cheese and potato. So good enough to take a photo, I guess. I believe we're now in Scotland. Yes, that's Edinburgh Castle. I'm guessing. Yeah, well, that's definitely an Edinburgh Castle there. So cool. I want to go there so much. So jealous. Now, I am assuming he's not taking a picture of the car park. And by the way, y'all have some large car parks as well. It has the train right there going by. And this is a train station as well. So, yeah. I wonder if this is when they're getting on the train to come down to London, I wonder. Now, this is the Royal Mile. You'll have to let me know the name of that. I forget the name off the top of my head. But it's just it's interesting is I try to get into my son's head of like, well, what's he really taking a photo of here? I'm thinking, okay, it's probably a good shot. But it's also really interesting to see how crowded it is, how narrow the street is, and the bus going right down the middle of the street. and just with the traffic and then the people and how it steps down these steps to the road, and the road being pavers there, and there's so many interesting things about it that it's just wild. And of course, the architecture, like everywhere, is amazing. So, but yeah, trying to get into my son's head of what spurred you to take a photo of that, of this, the reasoning why. Some are pretty obvious, but some are like, oh, I wonder what he was actually taking a photo of. I'm going to still think it includes so much here. There's a lot going on in this picture. All right, so I do know where this is. This is right outside Charing Cross station. He texted me these photos when the train arrived, and they came out and walked around. I don't remember what that little tower is there in the corner. I thought maybe it was like Elizabeth or Mary or Victoria. One of something like that had one of their names in it. I think it's near Trafalgar Square. It's just right around the corner, I think, from the station itself. And Trafalgar Square is not too far away from there, because I remember I was looking down on Google Earth trying to see where he was in this moment taking that photo and trying to find, that particular shot. Took me a little while, but I did find it. And that's St. Martin's, and I knew that from following him around when he sent me this photo. I wanted to know. Plus, it says it on the building itself. I don't know the history of St. Martin's, so if any of you do, shoot it my way for sure. I believe this is the other side of Tower of London. Am I right? Like on the other side of this fencing here, that's like the moat. Maybe this is not the other side. Maybe this is the main side. I don't know. Again, never been there. But as you can see, he's on the bus taking this photo, and that just kind of reiterates that they didn't get to go to a lot of places. There was a wonderful family member of the channel who tried to help me get a hookup over at who he has a hookup with the tower, and he was trying to get it to where he can get the kids in, and it just couldn't work. They were just so, again, packed with things to do, and then when they didn't really know when they were going to get their free time. It wasn't like a set time that they were going to have free to do things. It was like, okay, well, we're in this area and we don't need to be in this other area for another 2 hours. You get free time, that sort of thing. And you just don't know when it's going to happen. So it just couldn't work out. But Paul, thank you in advance for when you hook me up when I go. And I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you so much. You're too kind. Too kind. Cool nonetheless. Now, I have no idea where this is and why he took this photo. I did ask what's the deal here, and he said there's a street performer. He's literally, the street performer is right behind on the other side of that lamppost. Can't really see him, but you can see everybody at the crowd staring at the lamppost. Apparently, I believe this guy is right in front of the lamppost that we can't see. I don't know where this is. I can see there's a lot going on here as well. You can see that it's near a station. You see the underground sign there. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you can look at this building and go, oh, yeah, I know exactly where that is. But I do not have... Cooper was thinking it was near Piccadilly Circus, which may be the case. Now, this is probably my favorite of all his shots that he sent me. St. Paul's. Just love the reflection there. I know why he took this shot. This is awesome. What I don't know is how they ended up in this location. After doing the Google Earth thing, trying to find, well, where would he have taken this shot? It's like the reflection pool garden or reflection gardens or something like that. It's a little bit of ways, but it's just that angle. And it's just a small little pool. It's above ground. It's not, so there's a little walkway around this little pool kind of a thing. And it being called Reflection Gardens, I think that's what the name is. This shot, obviously my favorite. It's just awesome. But it makes me wonder, is how'd they end up over there? Of all places, right? Westminster Abbey. I'm glad that you got to see the building. It looks like there's already a queue out front there. Now, I believe this is back to Conwy, right? You'll have to let me know. I think that's Conwy Castle. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So it jumped back. Now, I'm not sure where we're at here. I want to say that's part of... Yeah, I don't know. There's some green space there. You'll have to let me know the shot. Again, why this location. I think he liked seeing the spire come out of the trees like that. Some of you will look at this and go, oh, yeah, I've been there. I know exactly what that is. It's really remarkable shot when you think about it, but it's just curious to see where he takes photos. Now, a lot of it could have been just because of opportunity. That's where they were. They were given the moment to take a photo, or they stopped because someone had to tie their shoe. I don't know. But it's just interesting to kind of get an insight into my kid's brain on what he finds, of course, not all photos, but what he finds fascinating, what he's taken a photo of. This is a close second to the St. Paul's shot. I love this photo. I just love how he got the whole front of the palace and of course Victoria Memorial there. And then you also get to see the green grass and the juxtaposed with the red flowers, and looks amazing. Just looks amazing. I just think that's a great shot. This is a video when Prince William pulled up. They had already driven by, and they're like, "What the heck?" And the tour guide that was with him said, "That's Prince William. He's coming back from such and such, and he's heading to the palace." They were outside the palace, of course. Then these horses come by, and by the time he got his camera out or started the video, they were already gone by, and so it's just a real short clip here of the horses. And then I'm happy that he was able to get some pictures of the black cabs of the taxis, so that's cool. Now, this is an interesting shot. I do believe he was taking a shot of the Parliament. Whether or not he knew that was Parliament, I don't know. Maybe he was just taking a picture of Big Ben and Elizabeth Tower. I know he didn't know that was Elizabeth Tower. He probably thought Big Ben was the whole structure, but we all learn, right? So, but it's actually a really cool shot. Not if you see the other pod here of other tourists in this one here, but it's a great shot of the River Thames. You get to see in this shot 3 bridges spanning the river, and just some of the skyline in that direction. I know behind him, we just did a video where we actually walked along with Strides and Rides. We walked along the bank embankment there, and then we walked along the bridge there. Hopefully he didn't try any of the food vendors. Apparently that's not a good idea. Of course, I don't think he did. And but it is a cool shot of Parliament. You see Westminster Abbey behind it. So cloudy day, not a big deal. I love cloudy days, but he did say it was warm. So there's that. He said it only really rained on him when they were on the Mile. It started to rain that day in Royal Mile in Scotland. But it's a cool shot nonetheless. And I'm assuming that's Westminster Abbey, right? One side of it, maybe, I don't know. It doesn't really look familiar. I'm just kind of guessing here on what that is. It could still be at the Abbey on another side, or it could be somewhere completely different. You'll have to let me know. Now, this is an interesting shot. I want to say it's near Trafalgar Square somewhere. The building on the left there looks like a museum, based on the banner out front and something like that. So I want to say it's in that area where there's a museum, and it does look like St. Martin's. That's the top of St. Martin's there. You have the statue of the guy on the horse. You'll have to let me know this, but I want to say it's in that area, but you'll have to let me know. But it's an interesting photo nonetheless. I like it. Now, this is awesome because, yeah, it's a nice close-up of Parliament. I see down here. What is this area, and is this accessible to the public, or is this like an eating area where you can go outside, maybe have a smoke if you're a smoker, and get some food here? Really cool. But yeah, it's just what Parliament and all. So this is the House of Commons here, right? And then over here is the House of Lords. I just watched the opening of Parliament, 2 hours worth. There will be a video. Hang tight for that. But the traditions of how they do that is just so unique. And this is the main, I forget what they call it, but the middle there, where they come bang on the door. To tradition, they bang on the door, they keep the door closed, make them bang, and they let them in, and then they invite them. The king says the king has requested their, appearance over there, so not all of them go. It seems like most of the chamber does go, but it does seem like some of them stay back, and I kind of asked that question in the other video, so I'm not going to get into it, but then they all walk across, they hear his speech, what he'd like for his government to do, like what he would like to see happen, and then they walk back and they get to work. Very interesting. I love it. Right here you have Westminster Abbey here. Of course, iconic Elizabeth Tower and Big Ben. This section of Parliament over here, the Parliament building, is where the king comes down this road here over here, and then turns in here, and there's like a royal court area here where he can get out and enter. One of the, I don't want to get into it because I think I talk about it in the other video, but I think it might almost take longer for him to travel from Buckingham Palace to here than the time he actually spends here and then gets back in the carriage and goes back. So it's very interesting, but it's a really cool tradition that they do, and yeah, we'll get into it later. I believe this is it. Last photo. Yeah, it is. But it's a wonderful shot up close. So we're going to go ahead and jump out. He had such an amazing time. I know he did. I just know he did. Pretty awesome. I'm really happy for him. I really am. I mean, obviously his interests are going to be different than mine, and that's okay. That's okay. But the people were lovely and friendly, and he really enjoyed the architecture, which is what I would love. The castle was great, and he had a blast in London. And his favorite part, of course, was when he was allowed to take the scooters, and him and his buddy got to go off and just explore. He's been very coy about divulging more information about what they did and where they went and all that stuff. So hopefully someday, as he looks back in his mind over the experience he had, he might be a little more receptive and open to share more information. And until then, as soon as I get it, I will certainly relay it on to you. But thank you. Thank you to everyone who sent in questions. Sorry I couldn't get them on camera. Maybe someday in the future I can. I know if chocolate was involved, he would be sitting right here next to me tasting chocolate. Obviously, we've already seen him do that twice. So it's not like he's camera shy per se, but I think then I should have just bribed him with chocolate. Anyway, hope everybody's happy, healthy, and safe. Thanks so much for coming. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. All right, take care. Bye.
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark. Yeah.